Okay, short and on the point. I don't want to talk too long about this. I already tried and I got tied up in stuff that I don't really want to discuss in detail here. Recent news, for example, Mr. Tetsuya Nakashima had to delay his newest movie, The Brightest Sun, to next year until next year, because some allegations about the making of this movie, The World of Kanako, came up some time ago, and he still denies everything and says, there was just a communication issue. But at least that led to some positive developments, like yeah, training about harassment for the crew and people involved in the making of the movie, and some other things. There's investigation going on about these allegations. So we got something positive out there, and that's something that happened some time ago, and like basically the Japanese Me Too movement happened, and another person who was or who came up there and allegedly did some pretty nasty, terrible, awful things was Mr. Sion Sono, one of the big directors of the, let's say, more recent Japanese film history. And however you may feel about watching movies by terrible people, that's up to you. I'm not gonna tell you what to do or how to feel if you still enjoy watching his movies. I just hope you are aware of what kind of a person he is. The allegations basically, well, I was led by a lady whose name is Mira Chiba, who is sadly not alive anymore, and the end of her life seemingly was connected to these allegations, or what that did to her mentally. Basically, the allegations were that Sion Sono wanted to have sex with her against her will, and some other actresses came up and said that he basically promised to put them in his movie, give them a role if they have sex with him. And if you watch at his last, was it his last one? I think it was his last movie. It's called Red Post on Asher Street, where a heroic, more artsy, independent film director struggles with his producers who try to put their lovers into the movie as actresses. Like, hey, they have sex with me, so they need to be in the movie. You might think that, or might believe that Mr. Sono knows better, and he knows about the problems in the film industry, and how women suffer. His movie Anti-Porno went in a similar direction. I remember many people being like, oh, that's actually very feminist. And yeah, then it came out that he's a pretty bad person. And yeah, so at that time, one of the people who spoke out against him and talked about his bad practices, and that went on about his workshops. And I remember at that time, or before that happened, I went to the cinema to see Red Post on Asher Street, and Shiosono was there and advertised one of his workshops, which basically is an idea where you go there, you pay the director some money, and he will, usually he, or sometimes maybe she, they will teach you about acting and stuff. And of course, you hope that this might lead to a movie role. So basically, you pay money to give your career a little boost. And I guess there are better and worse ways to do that. And if it ends in you telling the ladies, hey, if you do me a favor, I do you a favor, it's pretty problematic, especially if the favor that you give to them ends up being extra role without any lines, just standing in the background or something. So, yeah. People went to through a lot of trouble to be in his movies, and that's not particularly great. So Mr. Yuki Matsuzaki spoke out against these things, and on Twitter that happened. And of course, Mr. Sono, like many people in these situations, sued him for defamation, because that's what you do, because you want to prove that you are not guilty. And way too often stuff happens. Before there was the case that he sued the magazine that originally reported on this, and I think in that case they decided without a ruling that they have to delete the articles, but don't have to acknowledge that the content was false, which he obviously presented as a big win, because obviously if it's deleted it's not true, but that's not the case, or at least that wasn't decided. So basically no one ever decided what's true. Like, they had to delete it, and then they didn't really have to acknowledge that the content was false. So stuff. And he sued Mr. Matsuzaki as well. Probably he hoped for a similar outcome, but they actually had a ruling a few hours ago today, or I'm not sure if the news came out. Mr. Matsuzaki posted it on Twitter again. And I will just read out his tweet, and then I will add a little bit more that Tom Mass added to this. And let's see. I've just received the full ruling in the civil defamation lawsuit filed against me, Yuki Matsuzaki, by filmmaker Sion Sono. And I must say I'm very pleased with the outcome. Key points from the ruling. The truthfulness of my tweet could not be fully proven. Therefore, I have been ordered to delete it. So, a little bit similar situation like the magazine thing. Yeah. Okay, number 2. The court recognized partial defamation. Compensation for damages was set at 220,000 yen, just 2% of the 11 million yen Sono demanded. Number 3. The court acknowledged that my tweet served both public relevance and social benefit. Number 4. The court recognized as fact that Sion Sono committed sexual misconduct against actress Mida Chiba. 5. The court also found that Sono solicited sexual relationships with aspiring actresses and subsequently cast them in his films. Before the trial began, I publicly stated that my goal was to have the court acknowledge the years of sexual misconduct committed by Sion Sono as fact. I am proud to say that this ruling has accomplished exactly that. The court has officially recognized the testimonies of the brave individuals who came forward as fact. And because of this, I can say with confidence I won against Sion Sono. Thank you all for supporting me throughout this long and difficult journey, and now it's time for me to pay the legal fees. Sono is reportedly planning a press conference at the FCCJ, that's the Foreign Correspondents Club Japan, on the 27th of this month. Now that the court has confirmed multiple instances of his misconduct as fact, it will be interesting to see what he has to say. And what Tom Mass added to this, Sono also demanded an apology, which the judge deemed unnecessary. And the original compensation demanded by Sono was around $75,000, a multitude of what he was awarded. Sono also has to pay 80% of the trial fee. So the what he actually has to pay, these what was it, 220,000 yen, is about $1,500 or something. So yeah, I think that's a very good, very positive news, and I think these cases should be taken very, very seriously and checked very, very carefully, and things shouldn't be twisted like, hey, the magazine had to delete their articles, so I won, so it's not true, which is just silly. Similar tactics were going around with the 1%er and Sakaguchi. I talked about that in a previous video about the 1%er, so if you are interested in that, which is actually connected to this case because he seemingly delivered ladies to Sono. You can watch that. I talked about it there. There are some more news on 1%er as well, as they seemingly found a cinema that was willing to play their movie for not even 2 weeks in complete, like one in December, I think, and one quite recently. For a very short time, one screening it, I think it was something like that, and now they just released it on Blu-ray, and so at least they got it finally out in Japan. They tried to get it into cinemas, but didn't really work. I'm not so sad about that. I think Sakaguchi and Sono maybe should just retire from making movies and let it be. Like I said, if you still enjoy watching their movies, I'm not blaming you. That's totally up to you. I just wish that companies who sell these movies and people who watch them are aware of the issues, and I just hope that some directors or producers watch Sono's movies and go like, hey, this lady is cool, I want her in my movie, and these people who had to go through pretty terrible stuff to be in those movies at least get something positive out of it. I would wish, like, no. Yeah. Anyway, do what you like. I just hope people are aware of these things, and I hope everyone is as okay as they can be. I mean, for Sakaguchi and Sono, I don't care, but everyone who got damaged by them or people like them, I hope more cases like that get maybe this ruling actually helps to help people come out and speak about issues like that. Like, stuff needs to change. Like I said, with the Nishijima thing, at least, even if he will probably never get any kind of punishment, even not a tiny one. But at least that led to change in production and letting the production company be aware of it and put in some regulations, so that's at least something positive. So let's hope more positive things come from these issues so they just don't happen in the future. That would be nice. So do whatever you like. If you want to watch these movies, watch them, enjoy them as much as you can, and just be aware of how terrible the people behind those movies might are. That's all I'm asking for. Have a good day or night or whatever, and see you soon when we talk about movies. And yeah, bye.